All right, so uh, Nehemiah, in the book of Nehemiah, I'm gonna show y'all something in two, but just to give an overcast of Nehemiah and how and what I was just thinking about Nehemiah that caught my attention. In Nehemiah was in chapter 1, he is he's made it out of a place, and he's now has an assignment as the king's cupbearer. So he has a job, and he has an assignment where he's working with the king. So it's pretty much like somebody when they've been in a place and say they lived in Op, and they got a chance to move away from Op, and they got a chance to do better, to get a better life for themselves. And so they get this better life for themselves, and they working for the king and that kind of stuff. He's making some money where he had to be taken care of because he's working for the king. He's actually the king cupbearer. It has been said that historically said by theologians that when you are a king, a cupbearer for a king, what that means is you have to taste everything first. And so that's how they make sure that if you survive it, they know that it's no poison or anything put in there for the king. So Nehemiah had this, if you just really think about it, that's a job. It's a good job, but it's a job, It's a good job, but it's a job. You just really, if y'all just think about it, how many of you would want, you know what I'm saying? You definitely, if you're going to have that job, you want to make sure that everything is straight. You want to make sure the Kool-Aid is made right, make sure the tea is made right and everything, because you got to drink it before the king. And if something's wrong with it, who gonna die?
You will, the cupbearer.
That's right, the cupbearer. So Nehemiah done made it out. But when you see, matter of fact, I'll just run over here to 1, and we'll look at, and just to show y'all in an overview text of what's going on. Woo! I made me some onion tea, and it is hot. Whew! And I'm still drinking it. So it says, when verse 1 in Nehemiah chapter 1, it goes to talking about where he was in Shushan the palace and all, and literally in verse 2 how some come and they're talking to him about concerning the Jews that had escaped and which were left of the captivity concerning Jerusalem. This was his native place that he was taken out of, so he was afforded to be able to come out of there. They said unto him, there's a remnant in verse 3 that are left of the captivity of the province, but they are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burnt with fire. This is the report that they give Nehemiah concerning his place, his hometown, this place where he was. They give him this report. So Nehemiah says in verse 4, when I heard these words, I sat down and I began to weep, and I mourned certain days, and I fasted and I prayed before the God of heaven. This is what Nehemiah did. Okay, so now let's go over to chapter 2. So Nehemiah see his place is in trouble. He does the right things. He does all the right things. He fasts, he prays, he wept. He even goes to the king and writes letters to get permission, from the king to go help his place. Now, chapter 2, go around verse 12. Chapter 2 and get to verse 12. Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 12. And this is what it says. Nehemiah talking here. He says, and I arose in the, what's that word? Anybody, y'all there yet? Verse 12, chapter 2.
Night. In the night.
I arose in the night. I'm going to show y'all something. He says, I arose in the night, and some few men with me. Okay, all right now. Y'all listening to me real good? He says, I arose in the night, and some few men was with me. He says, neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I was riding on, meaning like his donkey, his horse, or whatever. Said I didn't, it wasn't but a couple people that knew what was going down. I moved at night. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port. I viewed all the walls of Jerusalem which had been broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. So this is Nehemiah talking about his movement. Now what the Lord showed me concerning this right here, he said, listen, he had to move at night. Because if you think about it, the people told him the condition that the place was in. Y'all remember what we just read? They told him, said,
Yes, ma'am.
some of the folk are in captivity. Y'all remember that? They told Nehemiah the state and the condition that the place was in. But what God wanted me to see and want me to share with y'all is this. It's amazing how folks can see a problem, but won't do nothing about the problem. That's why you can't tell them everything.
Ouch. Ouch.
Catch it now. They saw that problem. They was able to tell him everything that was going on. Okay, y'all didn't see it in chapter 1. They told Nehemiah everything that was going on, didn't they? They said, hey, some of these folk is left, they in captivity. Said walls done been broken down and everything. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me you saw the issue but don't want to do nothing about the issue? That's where Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem rose out of, the folk that didn't want to see it change. I started to hit my wall just then. I started to hit my wall.
We got some of them too.
Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem was of the people that saw the problem. That's why they didn't want the problem fixed, y'all. Y'all don't hear me.
Want to stay in ruin.
You better watch who you're fooling with in this season. Because some of them just might not want to see it fixed. They can come to you and tell you everything that's going wrong, but don't offer a solution. Oh, you better watch that. And you might better do like that song say, you better drop that zero. And do what else, Angie?
And get yourself a hero. All right now.
Baby. Baby, you better drop that zero. You better drop that zero, baby. Hold up, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you saw all this and wasn't doing nothing about it? You could tell me every problem that was in town, but you wasn't doing nothing about trying to fix none of them. But then when I start trying to fix them, you got a problem. Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, you got a problem? Oh, that's how we roll. So it said, Nehemiah said, shoot, I rose at night. Now, it's a sad thing when somebody got to come fix your house. I ain't going to say nothing right now. I'm going to just keep burning my tongue. Now, he was a native of the place, don't get me wrong. And because of him having a native heart for the place, he was going to have a heart for the place. But if he had said, I don't live there no more, he wouldn't have been telling no lie. If he had just accepted the position that he had with the king and just said, hey, I'm thankful that I got out. I mean, I got a good meal every day and all this kind of stuff, so I'm good. If he had said that, then hey, I mean, really righteously, there was nothing that you could do to him about it. But there was something on the inside of him that cared about the condition of the place where he dwelled. One more time. It cared about the condition of the place where he dwelled, where he once dwelled, rather, because he wasn't there anymore. But the sad part about it was the people that were there didn't care. Definitely, that's probably why the enemy didn't want you to get on him. It's a sad thing when the people in the place don't care. They got the chief complaints. They can tell you everything that's wrong in the place, but ain't nobody trying to do nothing about fixing it. Ain't nobody trying to come together to figure out a plan of something to do. But they can tell you about everything that's going wrong. Where we got potholes over on Bond Street. We ain't got no places to eat. We're losing all of our businesses. This place right here ain't good. No, these people right here, they too high. These people right here don't sell quality stuff. This part of town right here is no good. It's all full of drug addicts and drug users is what I like to call them. It's full of drug users and all. And you see, they can tell everything about the issue, but ain't nobody doing nothing to try to fix it. So the Lord tells Nehemiah to move at night. Now, it's a sad thing when somebody got to come in and move at night to help your city, to help your house. When they got to move at night. Because you so caught up in all of what's going wrong inside of there that you can't even see any hope for your own place. Y'all better hear what I'm saying to you. It's a sad situation when you can't have no hope for your own place. All you can see is what you don't have, the negative. That's all that you can see. You quick to give a negative report rather than saying, we got some issues going on here, but we are believing God every day for somebody to come fix it, for the Lord to send us some help to get this thing fixed. We believe in the Lord to give us a mind, some wisdom of how we can fix this situation and how we can rebuild our walls so that our city is fortified. They didn't say that, but they just came rather with a negative report. See, you got to watch them type of people where all they talk about is negative stuff. That's the whole conversation is about negative stuff. This going on and this going bad and that. It's not to say that you can't talk about what's happening, but what are you saying on the back end of it? Once you say, I got a light bill due, even got a gas bill too, telephone disconnect, waiting on my next paycheck, but then you stop singing. You can't stop singing. Because the rest of the song said, I tell you what you ought to do. I tell you what you ought to do. Because Jesus will see you through. I'm a witness. He'll see you through. You see what I'm saying? So you got to keep going to the solution. You can't just keep talking about the problem. You got to keep going to the solution. You can't just stay on the problem. You can't. You can't just stay on the problem. You got to talk about the solution. What's the solution? What's going to come, What's going to happen after this? Hold on 1 second, y'all.
Blessed, blessed.
That's all three of them in one cover.
That's all three of them. Distraction.
Yeah, that's all of them. But anyway, so what you have to do?
Don't want to.
And might as well float on, float on. Doom, doom, doom. Float, float, float on. Okay, but like I said, you have to make sure that you get to the positive side of things. It's okay to talk about what happened, but you got to have a solution as well. You got to have an answer to what's done went down as well. You can't just, everything is about a chief complaint, and it's just, it's just negative. But what are you believing God for? Well, when they went to Nehemiah, they didn't have no positivity. All they was telling him about was negative. And so by them being like that, he accounted them as people that wasn't worth working with. Oh my God. Y'all hear what I said?
Amen.
He counted them as people not willing, not worth working with. Why? Why you think he counted them as people not willing to work with and not worth working with?
The attitude they had.
They were caught up in the negative.
It was already negative.
Yeah.
That's right.
They were caught up in the negative. It's pretty much like what happened when they sent them two in to spy in Canaan. And they came back and said, we be as grasshoppers in their sight and in our own sight. Now, wait a minute. That's two negatives. Where is the positive? Now, it would have been different if they said, we be as grasshoppers in their sight, but we got a God that's bigger than any giant that we could face. But that ain't what they said. They said, hey, we be as grasshoppers in their sight and in our own sight too. We don't feel like we got no victory nowhere. We don't seem to see nowhere where we're winning or where we can win. We can't be that type of people. We can't get to that place like that, y'all. We've got to keep the faith. We've got to keep hope alive. We've got to keep trusting that God sees us, God hears us, God loves us, and that God is going to make a way, has made a way for us. We just got to get to the point of where the way is. Everything that needs to be done in our life, to be honest with you, has already been done. Scripture teaches that. It said he declared the ending from the beginning. So God ain't going to do anything. God has already done it. We just have to catch up with it. We have to walk in the timing of it. So I remember when I used to pray, I don't pray it as much as what I used to, but I used to pray, Lord, whatever you have for me on this day, I call to order in this day. Whatever it is that you have for me, I was bringing myself to the current time of whatever it was that heaven had for me. So if heaven said that this day that I would encounter a millionaire, and that, me and this millionaire would go and network together, or me and this millionaire would be a blessing to me, well then I'm in the present moment of that day so that can happen. But if I'm caught up in the past concerning something that has happened, I can't be present in my now. Neither can I be looking forward to my future. So we have to be careful in the way that we state things, in the way that our mind takes things. It's okay to see that there is something going on. It's okay. It's okay to say, hey, look, I'm having a bad day. It's okay to say, you know what I'm saying, I got a whole lot of stuff that's pressing on me right now. It's okay to say that and be telling the truth about it. But once you say that, you need to come back and say, but I'm doing everything that I can to believe God. Even if I have to lean on y'all, can I get some help? Because I'm getting weary. I'm getting tired. And sometimes it has to be like Moses, where there have to be two to hold up your hands to make sure that you don't give up, that you don't cave in. That's fine if that's how it's got to be. But we've always got to make sure that we come back with the positive and combat the negative. We don't see that in Nehemiah. They came with a negative report, but never said anything about, well, we'll believe in God to fix this. We're trusting God that he's going to come through and, things are going to change for us. Or we just need a leader. We just need somebody to help us. If we can just, a lot of times with people, it's not that they don't want to do. Sometimes they don't know where to start. Everything has been against them for so long that they don't know where to start. They don't have any idea. Everything around them is negative. All the conversations around them are negative. So they have a desire to get out, but they don't know how to get out. It's like they're encompassed round about by the negativity. So they just need somebody that will come. Now, I show y'all that and I can prove that to you because that's what I believe happened with these guys. Because remember in the text, it says in verse 12, Nehemiah 2, verse 12, and I arose in the night and some few men with me. See, there was some that really wanted help. But maybe they needed a leader because they didn't know how to do it. And I believe those were the ones that God heard that were praying about a change. Those people that went to Nehemiah with that negative report, I don't believe they were looking for a change. They were looking for welfare. They were looking for welfare, just like the children of Israel were. The children of Israel were looking for welfare. That's why they said, look, you've taken us out of Egypt, where we had 3 hots and a cot. See, they were looking for welfare. They were looking for food stamps. They were looking for welfare. Because the mind had been triggered to think, I need to buy my food with food stamps. Well, what if you got money? If you got the money, you can buy it with money. But the mind had been conditioned to only think about food stamps, only think about welfare. So they got upset, saying, Moses, you done took us off of welfare. How dare you take us off of governmental assistance where they monitor everything that we got, where they dictate to us what we can have and what we can't. Moses, I ain't fooling with you. We sick of you. You should have just left us over there while we was on welfare. Yeah, but you were a slave and you were not going to ever face freedom. You were not going to ever have the freedom that Christ died for you to have. Well, whatever. I don't care. I still rather be on welfare. Because if I'm on welfare, at least they made sure that I got something to eat. Yeah, but you don't understand. You're working for it. You're not getting it free. You're working for it, and you are literally being held in their hand and having to live according to their rules of what you can and what you can't do. They put a cap on what you can make, rather than it be an unlimited amount of what you can have. There is a difference. There is a difference. There is a difference. Some people think that I'm always going to have to be like this because I got situations, I got the ailments, I got this and that. Let me tell you something. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Do you not know that there are people that have all types of disabilities that have a bunch of money? I'm going to tell y'all about a young man. Now, he ain't done right with the money, and he's in a situation right now, from the way it's looking on social media, he's homeless. But there is a young man by the name of Shamar that went famous during this COVID high social media era. He has scoliosis. His body is slanted. And, just by him being like that, it made him an attraction to people. Some people were laughing about it. Some people were just intrigued by it, the way his body was. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Shamar, man, blew up. Money coming from all streams. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and them people be making millions. Some of them people make $30,000, $40,000 a month on just their videos. Making plenty of money. But because Shamar is a little mentally challenged, Shamar now is homeless, according to what I've been seeing on the videos. But the point I'm making is he's disabled. He was disabled, still is. Got scoliosis, body bent all up, but had an opportunity to be a millionaire. What if he had had the right sense in what to do with that? And how to keep that as a steady revenue coming. $30,000, $40,000 a month coming in versus $1,000 a month. Which one would you rather have? And he ain't working hard. All he had to do was be visible on the camera. Just let people see him. And just be Shamar. Just be Shamar. People were laughing at him. But you know what? Every time they hit that video, it counted as a view. So whether they was laughing at him or whether they was praying for him when they hit that video, his money rolled. His money went up. Because it counted as a view, regardless of who hit it. And you get paid by them views. Mm-hmm. We literally have got to become people that come out from under caps and believe God for an open heaven. For an open heaven. You do not have to work hard for what God has anointed you to do. It ain't going to kill you. He wouldn't let it. I've seen people fall out in the Holy Spirit. Ain't nobody that'll catch them and get up and don't even be hurt. Why? Because God is a perfect gentleman. He's not going to do anything to hurt us. He's the God that is known to not put more on you than you can bear. So why would he hurt you? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. My greatest encouragement to y'all, you better see what your gifts are. God knows I'm after mine. And see where they need to be plugged into the earth so that they can get you what you need to get. All these people that we are watching on this social media, these people did not just start this stuff. These people were born with this stuff. It's just the earth opened up to receive their gift. Eddie Harris, that boy's a multi-millionaire. But Eddie didn't just become funny. They said Eddie was a clown all in school. But the earth opened up to receive his gift, and now that gift is making so much money, it's ridiculous. Country Wayne, making so much money, got his own studio now. It's ridiculous. It's the gift. It's the gift. And they're not working hard. They're getting a chance to laugh and enjoy everything that they're doing. They're getting a chance to enjoy it, not working hard. Because you don't work hard when you work for the Lord. You don't work hard when you work in your gift. But you get paid good for it. You get paid good for it. He's the best employer that there is. His money long. It don't run out. We've got to become people that come off out from up under the caps. Be willing to come from under the caps. God knows exactly what to do. When I tell you he knows exactly what to do, he knows exactly what to do. He knows the right timing of and how to do it and everything. He does. All we have to do is just be willing. Because as it says, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. He didn't tell you to make nothing happen. He just told you to be willing and be obedient, which means move when God tells you to move. Do what God tells you to do. Be willing to do what God tells you to do, because God can set your life up as to where you don't ever have to walk in another job. You don't ever have to do nothing that you've been doing. You don't ever have to wait on the government for another third of the month. If you be willing and obedient. If you be willing and obedient. We already got a testimony among us about that. Sharika's a testimony. I remember being there with Rika. Through waiting for the disability, believing God, for the disability, having to deal with her and everything. But then I also flipped the script on her and said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, Rika. No, ma'am, you too young. No. No, you can't. No. No, you would limit yourself. You got too many dreams. I want my own. I want to buy me a house. No, it's not, baby. You got too many dreams. That stuff puts you in a cap. It limits you. You're going to have to come out. She out. At first, she was scared. What am I going to do? What am you going to believe God? And you going to go on forward. And everything that was being provided through that is being provided now. She can go to the doctor. She ain't got to hide what she make. It's hers. She do what she want to do. She put it wherever she want to put it. But when we have a mindset and we allow ourselves to be capped off, God can't do what he want to do. He can't. How he gonna give you millions and you scared of it? You want to put it somewhere else. You want to hide. You ain't got no business having to hide nothing that's yours. That's yours. He did that for you. That's yours. If you want to tell the world, you can. It's your business. But he can't if he's capped. He can't pour into a cup that has a lid on it, y'all. All right. I'm going to say it again. He cannot pour into a cup that has a lid on it. Okay, I'm going to say it 3 times. One more time. He cannot pour into a cup that has a lid on it. He can't. Take your lid off. God be God. And be God for real. In my life. Be God for real. Not this God that we done created in our minds. And not this God that we only want for certain things. But be God for real. Be the God that is El Shaddai. Be the God that is Jehovah Jireh. Be the God that is the God of the universe. That is the God of the earth. Be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Be the God that hung the stars and set the moon in orbit. Be the God that parted the Red Sea. Be the God that fed the 5,000. Be the God that healed the woman with the fever. Be the God that healed the woman with the issue of blood. Be the God that calmed the sea. Be that God. Not this God that we done created, but be God for real. Because we have an image and a form of what we think you are, and that is limiting you from being who you really are. But we remove the caps so that you can pour into vessels of honor as you choose to. And we trust and know you're not going to leave us without. You're just not going to do it because you're not that kind of God. You're not that kind of God. We trust you. We trust you. We trust you. Now pour. In Jesus' name. Y'all got anything?
Caps off. Amen. It's like you're Nehemiah. You came back into awe to do what Nehemiah, when he went back in to rebuild the walls, you come into awe. Get them on the right track. You're Nehemiah.
I really, really, really believe that God, I believe it, y'all. I saw one of my memories today. I was looking at my memories on Facebook. And I said something in 2017. I said, oh, I see like open doors. I see traveling. This was 2017. It took a few years. No, it didn't. Because I think I started moving in 19. Before I hit the cruise ships, I was running the vehicle, going places and all. But I seen it just, it happened. I literally, I'm telling y'all, with everything inside of me, I know some money coming. I know some money coming, y'all. It's just getting a house in order to receive it, and the caps have to come off. God is a big God. And he want to be where he can pour. He's not pouring out of a little spoon. He's pouring out of a big cup. I know that our financial situation is going to turn around. I know it do. I know it do. I just refuse to believe anything else. But there are some things that we had to do in order to be in position for it to turn around. Bottom line. It can't turn around as long as we got caps on us. Because he's saying, I can't pour. Yeah, you can, God. you can pour it, but I want you to give it to such and such, and they gonna get it for me. They gonna keep it for me. No. That's not theirs. That's yours. I can't pour. Any questions? Any comments? I've said the prayer, so I guess that's the benediction. Woo! All right, and again, I apologize for being late coming in here, y'all. I do. I just lost track of time. I did. Not only did I lose track of time, but I lost track of the day. I forgot the day was Thursday. I think I did that last week too. I need to see if God want me to change something. Because usually my spirit keeps up with stuff. I need to see if there's been a shift in something. I'm going to talk to God about that. Because I usually be on point. And I usually can feel y'all, pulling me in. So I need to see what's up with that. Yeah, I need to see what's up with that. So if it's nothing else, I'm going to go and I'm going to wash my face. I'm sick of this stuff on my face. And I will catch y'all later. Have a good night. I love y'all. I know I say it all the time, but I want to tell you again, I love you.
I love you too. Love you too, Apostle.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Good night. Good night.